Mr. Jenkins, this video, we're going to go over some things. It's for you, so you know what's going on here with the trailer. We've been talking about the brake piston starting to stay frozen out. And let's go ahead. We're going to pick up here. Watch the suspension as we raise your suspension. Okay, right here in the center on your equalizer, you see the way that they're towed in right now. Both of your shackle links are facing to the inside. Take the weight back off a little bit, please. Now watch them roll in. Okay, as you take the weight off now, we're taking the weight back off. Look at them roll in. You see how they're rolling in? Now your tire goes back to the out like this, and you're starting to see the pattern. We're starting to hit this wear outside. It's starting to smooth out. You'll see it real good on the other side where it's happening. Now watch. Look right here, and this right here. You see where this is right here? Okay, let's. I'm sorry, I'm off of it right now. Okay, watch this right here. This is where the neoprene or the nylon bushing that's inside here, polypropylene bushing, is wore out. Okay, on the inside, this means this is into an oval now, right here. Okay, this is now an oval instead of a circle. And behind here, this is now this hole that was at 9/16 or 9/16 is now probably closer to 5/8, so almost 11/16. It's probably almost 11/16 in the spring. Let's go ahead and pick up. And now your suspension, watch this now. All right, watch the fender itself and the lift. It's going to come back in the tires. Go ahead, jack it up. You can jack it up good. All right, now so here comes the lift. Now, wow, there's your lift. There's your 3 inches, 3.5 inches like you're supposed to have. Okay, now tires up. Now, notice the shackles, all right, they're starting to go back out. This equalizer is supposed to look like the W, okay, a W. And there you go. You see how it's starting to form the W, right? Now look at the tire here in the front where it actually starts to lay back in. Okay, this tire is now laying back in. And this pattern, look, see how this pattern is actually, okay? 2.5 turns on the front brake, okay, without the pressure. Piston is not locked down on this one. Watch the back one. Good spin, that's freewheeling, and that's a good sign, okay, that this is released all the way. What concerns me on your brake is, again, to talk about this design. If you look here at your piston, like we've been discussing here on the piston, plenty of pad, right? Plenty of pad left. They're still self-cleaning the rotors and everything, but you look here at this piston. Let me get my finger in here to get it out. And you'll see that this thing is out almost 3/8 of an inch off the thing, off of this. And this one's actually the one that was ripped. Back here that actually is ripped, but they're all like this. This right here, you see that shiny silver right here? There's your piston that's pushing out the pad. This one is almost shit. You see where the ring is right there? That's supposed to be all the way back into the sleeve. You're not even supposed to see that. This is supposed to be all the way back into here, right here. And this is out almost, this is over 3/8 of an inch past the end of the sleeve, you know, where it's supposed to go back into the unit. So this is something that is going to be addressed. But right now, you get all those turns here. You're still getting the braking power, but something needs to be addressed, you know, when you're ready to do the brakes. Right now, your concern is going to be, now we have the curvature back into the spring. Okay, see these springs now? We took the weight and put it on the center of the equalizer, and now the curvature is back into the springs. This 3-leaf right here, when you take the weight off, see the spread? Okay, we're taking the weight off, making the W form back into the unit. Now we're actually, this is going to be 25 1/4 between the bolts, like it should be, not 26. And that's what's making the, that's why you have an issue with the tire. You don't have a bent axle. You have a problem with the suspension starting to wear out. I mean, you put in a lot of miles on this, you get in a lot of dips in the road, and now it's in your suspension. You know, and then when you get this hose tightened up, and we'll come back in and check out some of these your lags where they're starting, like I said, in and out the water, and they're starting to you know, back out a little bit. So we need to get these tightened back in. You're gonna look here, like I was talking in the very beginning, where these seams stay closed. They don't allow the board to drain out. They look real pretty, but if you keep the carpet opened here, this right here allows this to drain out. No telling what's going on with this board, but it's staying wet. Still, it's still wet. So I mean, I don't know when the last time you put this in the water, but from right now it's about 10:30. If it was a couple of days ago and this is still wet, it shouldn't be like that. You know, it shouldn't still be wet. Okay. And let me pause this real quick so I can get up to the front and show you some other things happening. All right, now here in the front, all the grease, of course, came through and dumped out. You can see that this is the fresh grease, zerk fitting, and cotter pin on the front passenger side, the Zerk fitting was gone. It wasn't in there anymore. And also, there was no, I couldn't find it inside the cap. We took it all back out, and it was not inside there. So I don't know where it went to. It's not inside. It's not in the bearing. It's not in the castle nut slots. So it was either taken out by someone, you know, because it's not there anymore. It didn't evaporate. And I'm just curious as if it was you or you know anything about it, because if not, then there's something's going on there. There's no Zerk fitting. I don't understand why. We put an 8mm back in to the same tap. It fits in. It's snug. It's tight. So I don't understand the reason why it backed out in the first place, because there's nothing wrong with the thread. So it's suspicious, to say the least. Okay, if you look at the cap, we're starting to see this surface, a little bit of surface rust on the cap. Some of them are worse than others. There's no actual water in the inside the hub. This is the condensation that builds up inside this cap with it closed, and it allows the moisture to stay in there for a time bit, and not actual water, just some moisture. Of course, the ring is getting worse on the depressed master cylinder here. The shock damper was still good, and you see this little ring, this little hassle is getting worse and worse. We're going to go ahead and clean this back out. We're going to re-lube it and put I'm going to put the metal cap back in and then seal this down right here to avoid this. So if you keep getting water in there, rust particles will eventually fall into this, and once they go down to that little hole, they'll groove out your master cylinder, destroying your high pressure side, and it will no longer it won't be able to build up that high pressure from the low pressure side, because it'll groove underneath on the piston. It'll groove out the bottom of the master cylinder, and as you go to build it up, it'll just flow underneath the piston, and you go to have brakes, next thing you know, no brakes. So this right here, we're going to need to go ahead and put that into check. All right, again, something to watch there on some of your mounting brackets on the so we're going to go under today and tighten these up, but they're starting to back out, and if we need to put the stainless washers between there to make sure we get good grip on the teeth, then we're going to do so. This was the one that was missing the Zerk fitting on the front right, and again, don't know where it was or how it did that, but it was 2 tubes of grease. We packed everything through and went through it here on this back side. Again, reached out, and you can see that like I said, everything is good here. You can see that this is all the new stuff, but everything else that was fine with the Zerk fittings still in. And again, I want you to make sure that you're aware of the fact that everything is looking good. The bearings all sound good. I want you to be aware of the piston issue on your brakes. They are all extended, and this is all the way back to the front. The piston is all the way released all the way to the front, and you see you're getting that full spin of over 2.5 revolutions by hand, which is a real good sign that you have backed off to where you need to be. However, with the dust cover is is cracked in the back, to where it allows the water and stuff to get in, and then on the rest, but they're not cracked. They are extended out well past the ring, and it's just something that you need to be made aware of. We've talked about it when this is still going to work for you. It's something I want you to be aware of, because if your brakes become overly hot, you should never be radiating heat off of the brakes, and every time you stop for gas and fuel or something, or before you launch, if you can wait to back it in, something you want to do is to not bring draw in, because on the next service, bare minimum, we should come in, open these up, and replace the seals on every one of these, which means taking the caliper off, taking the rotor off, taking the caliper off, and let's go ahead and remove and change out the seals bare minimum. Okay, like I said, all the bearings feel great. The grease had its consistency. Of course, it is that good purple pride. So again, we're going to go ahead and take care of this little flush area here with the brakes on the front. We're going to go ahead and screw up some of these lag screws here on the bottom. And I said, I apologize for not getting here, and if you feel like it was games, no, I really do apologize. I'm gonna make sure you get some credits here. Spring bolts, neoprenes, and all of your hangers here, and springs. Your springs have lost their capacity to hold this boat. You should, if you notice the fact that you're getting that bounce in there, more bounce than you ever had in your ride before, that's where it's coming from. And you'll see it. You can actually see it here right now. We've got it up, and this is more consistent with where this is supposed to be resting. Okay, here and here, where these are actually spread like the W. That's the way they're supposed to spread. Now we're going to drop it back out and just watch it again. Watch, you're going to lose all the gap between your fender okay, and you're going to have this, okay, coming down, and there, watch it go. Look at that invert on your thing. All right, so now you got the invert there. You can see, look at the top of your spring. Okay, so you look in here. I'm gonna go ahead and magnify for you, and there you go. If you notice now, that's oval in there. Okay, you still got your mileage and everything here. On your next service, you need to go ahead and change your. You should change your shackle links and neoprenes. Bare minimum, if you don't mind the ride as it is, but you're starting to have the spring issues, and that's what's causing your problems here on your wear out. Okay, axle is straight; it is not bent. Okay, so this is what we're talking about on your neoprenes. See how you're starting to have the this buildup here. It's not just brake dust anymore. Okay, on this side, this is brake dust here. See the white line from my finger? This is brake dust. Okay, that little black ring. But if you come to the back side, hold on, let me pause. And I'm going to go ahead and get a glove on here. Okay, and you see what I was talking about with your springs. It lost some of the curve back on the spring by going back to where it is and having the weight of the full weight of the boat. Okay, under load while you're traveling down the interstate, moving at a speed, this is coming bouncing and going flat, going back, going flat, and you're just getting way too much movement here, and it is starting to cause this issue on your tires. So both of the outsides are wearing, which I said highly unusual, but highly suspect in the suspension itself. If you see in here now, this is not brake dust to the inside. This is going to be, watch, right here. This is going to be the beginnings of light grease leaking. When we pumped these out, you didn't have one bit of water in any one of these hubs yet. But I will tell you, within the next 1,000 miles, you will have water intrusion into the bearings. The neoprenes will give out. So like I said, we're going to have to change seals. I'll write you up a ticket so you can see what you're dealing with, because this is all going to have to come off to get to the back side of this and actually change these. And you can see in here, you're starting to have, see here? Okay, you see that first tendril of purple right here? From the new stuff that was put in there? Okay, so this right here is something that's going to be addressed, all right? And that is the slight, this is just over 20,000 miles of the rubber seal it gives out. All right, sorry for wasting 12 minutes of your time on this video, but I felt it should give you a very good rundown on what's going on with your trailer, okay, from the suspension to the seals and what have you. When you put this type of mileage on a trailer, it's definitely evident in the parts that you have that are moving and that actually require the type of maintenance. This trailer has seen the same probably type of mileage that, a 7-year or 8-year trailer sees when this is all actually corroded and needs to be changed out because of the corrosion and lack of movement. You have all the movement and all the miles, and therefore, I mean, they have to be changed here. They have lost the capacity to handle these large dips, and it's something that over the next 1,000 to 2,000 miles that you're going to really start noticing real sway issues, real bounce issues here when you hit these dips in the road, and like I showed. I'm going to show you the biggest factor here. If we look, this last thing that is very important. Okay, you see this here? Look at this line right here. Okay, this is where this is coming down. This will actually slide all the way back to here, and then it's going to hit right there. You see this on the bottom of the equalizer? This is where this is coming down and hitting. So now you have, right, you see coming up the back side of the shackle link, this is where this spring slides up and down as you're traveling. Okay, this is metal to metal contact now. Okay, it comes all the way down and bangs the back of the equalizer right here. And you can see the metal depression, right? So instead of you getting the full swing of this on the outside where this rocks out every time you hit the bump, it's going to say, this comes down, you've lost the capacity, so this comes all the way down to where it can't come down any further, and this is about a little bit, about 3/4 of an inch. This comes down, hits here, and eventually this is going to snap right here. I mean, I will predict the future of this. This is what happens, and this is where your spring will break. Bam, right here, and you see that's as far as it's going to let it go before it connects with the equalizer. So it's a pretty explanatory once you see it. And again, look at the slot effect that it has because your neoprene and your your little sleeve bushings here are gone. Okay, so they're gone. This allows this half-inch hole to increase in size up to 11/16, and after it starts wearing out, it'll be up to 3/4. So that'll give you too much play here, up to 1/4 of an inch of play in the slots. So now you have the 1/4 inch of play. You have your half-inch in here of play. Now that's just way too much play, and then you got the slot. It's allowing, like I said, it to bottom out on itself. And push comes to shove, you keep on testing this. This is going to give you, it's going to bite back, and you don't want to be out there in another state with this happening. Okay. I don't like to be a doomsday preacher, but it's a matter of time. Sorry for wasting 15 minutes of your time, but I felt you would need a full explanation of what was going on here, and this is a visual for you, for me not to be here. Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. I appreciate your business.